Big changes just hit Trump's big beautiful bill, changes that could impact your wallet, healthcare, and retirement more than you might think. On Monday, the Senate went into overdrive, flooding the bill with surprise amendments, tax hikes, and cuts that weren't there last week. They're racing to get it signed by the July 4th deadline. So in this quick update, I'll break down what's new, what's still being negotiated, and why a lot of people, lawmakers and everyday Americans, are raising red flags. First, the Senate launched into a vote-a-rama, an all-day, no-breaks voting spree where senators toss an amendment after amendment. It started Monday morning, and by late night, they were still at it. That tells you, this bill is far from settled. And these votes weren't just for show. The biggest fights: Medicaid, taxes, energy, and the overall vision this bill is pushing for the country. Let's start with Medicaid. This version of the bill could leave almost 12 million more people uninsured by 2034. That's massive. The Senate's plan includes nearly $930 billion in cuts over the next decade. And here's a big twist: it removes the work exemption for parents of teenagers. So now, if you're a single mom with a 15-year-old and juggling shifts to make ends meet, you might lose coverage if you can't meet the new work requirements. It's one of those changes that sounds technical, but hits hard in real life. States will also lose flexibility to raise funds locally for Medicaid. That could force hospitals, especially in rural areas, to cut services or shut down entirely. And then there's the Planned Parenthood issue. The Senate kept a ban in the bill that blocks Medicaid payments to them, but only for a year instead of 10. Still, that's enough to close hundreds of clinics, especially where healthcare options are already slim. And let's be clear, these clinics provide way more than abortion services. They do cancer screenings, birth control, general checkups for women and families. So, why the rush? Well, President Trump wants this bill on his desk by the 4th of July. It's a political deadline. That's why things are moving fast, even if not everyone agrees with where this is headed. Now, about the money. The Senate version is expected to add $3.3 trillion to the deficit over 10 years. That's nearly $1 trillion more than the House version. Why? Massive corporate tax breaks stayed in. Some were even made permanent. Meanwhile, programs like food stamps saw fewer protections. One budget expert summed it up: expand the giveaways, shrink the takeaways. More upfront perks, but not enough long-term planning. Supporters say the bill will boost growth and help businesses. Opponents say it shifts the cost onto everyday people, through service cuts, higher bills, or future tax hikes. And speaking of opponents, Elon Musk came out swinging. He said anyone who backs this bill after promising to cut spending should hang their head in shame. He even threatened to start a new political party if it passes. He's not alone. Senator Tom Tillis from North Carolina gave an emotional speech accusing the bill of breaking Trump's promise on Medicaid. He said 600,000 people in his state would lose coverage, and then announced he won't seek re-election. That's a big statement. Meanwhile, Democrats accused Republicans of sneaking in changes behind closed doors. Even some Republicans, like Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, sided with Democrats on protecting Medicaid and rural hospitals. That's rare, and it shows how divided things really are. Now here's the part that's flying under the radar: energy. The Senate added a new tax on solar and wind energy, right in the middle of the clean energy transition. Experts say it could slow development just as demand for electricity is expected to explode due to AI and new tech. Worst part: if this passes, energy bills in some red states could rise by 18% by 2035. That's a big deal if you're on a fixed income or already managing tight monthly costs. And here's a sneaky move: they changed how they calculate the bill's cost. Instead of the usual method, they're using something called a current policy baseline, which assumes certain tax cuts stay forever, even if they're scheduled to expire. Makes the bill look cheaper than it really is. Critics are calling it smoke and mirrors. So where does this leave us? As of Monday night, the Senate was still voting on amendments, with more expected Tuesday. If it passes, it heads to the House, where even more pushback is brewing. And yet, the goal is still Trump's desk by Wednesday. Here's what to watch next: what happens to Medicaid in the final version? What's quietly added or removed before the vote? And what are lawmakers saying privately versus what they're saying on TV? Now I want to hear from you. What part of this bill worries you the most? Is it the healthcare cuts, energy costs, tax changes, or just how fast it's all moving? Drop a comment. I read everything you write, and it helps me know what to cover next. If this video helped break it down for you, hit that like button, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe to the Untold Compass for more straight talk updates. We'll be watching this vote closely and we'll be back as soon as the dust settles. Stay informed. Stay grounded. And let's keep walking through this together.